Alright, alright. Already know, man. Gotta promote the live. Gotta promote the live. We streamed the entire film. Already know, first stream of the fake New Year. Alright, you finna get ready to start. Finna get ready to start. Gotta make sure everything's straight before we start. Alright, so turn the lights off. Not all the way off. Just keep it dim. Alright. Alright, so this is the Farlooker. As you guys have seen on this channel of previous live streams of me doing the whole film making process from the VFX to just putting everything together. And this is the final product right here. This is the finalized project. I did succeed on getting the film on Tubi. As y'all can see, this is Tubi free streaming platform. And it's kind of funny because I'm seeing a whole lot of you know demeaning things said about Tubi, and people bashing Tubi and its avenue for independent filmmakers and independent film. And I just want to say that my film quality is nothing like the trash that y'all have seen on Tubi, especially these ghetto films. Yeah. My film is nothing like that. I'm a real deal filmmaker. I actually take my craft very seriously as an art form, and you guys are going to see that in the cinematography of my film right here, The Farlooker. And we're about to start. So this is an hour and 4 minutes, pr produced throughout the whole 2022 Gregorian year, because it's not really a new year. New Year's is in March, people. New Year's is in spring. There is nothing new in the dead of winter, so there is not a new year. We are still in the winter season, and it's a whole lot of occultic undertones in that as well. But we're just gonna stay on the film right here. So, of course, directed by me, starring me. I did all the VFX by myself, and we're gonna get into you know the progression of how the sequels are gonna go as we're breaking down the film. And yeah, it's a sci-fi thriller, psychological thriller. It's this is the basically the synopsis or the summary of the film. A superhuman struggles to find a balance between his philosophical perspectives on humanity and using his powers to aid the progress of mankind. All right, so this is the Farlooker. About to start the film. Let everybody get ready. Give it a good minute to get ready. right. All right, about to start. Let's do this. Full screen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So we have these ring makers, and they create tremendous energy. Yeah. Can you tell us more about what you think is going on there? You've got any ideas along those lines?
Well, let's just take one that there was this, what do they call them, Farlookers, or...
All right, now this is basically the opening scenes of the film. I wanted to instill the element of like unknowingness, like you don't know what's going on, like you just starting to watch the film and you just see dirt being shoveled away, kind of comes in off a blank all black first frame, and goes into the this audio recording of a guy named Norman Berggren. He was actually an ex NASA scientist. And in that interview, that audio is from an interview that he gave where he's explaining pretty much aliens and extraterrestrial dynamics going around the planet of Saturn. And that's pretty much where I got the name of the film from. That's like where I got the term "the Farlooker" from, where he was in that interview, and he kind of like coined the term like Farlookers. So that's exactly where I got the title for the film from. Like that's what basically inspired the title of the film, "The Farlooker." So very good interview. Very good interview if you're into extraterrestrial research and ufology basically. And that's the first layer of that. The second layer of this whole sequence right here is like I said, the hint to extraterrestrials, right? The hint to aliens. Like if you actually, since I explained where that audio is from, and I explained the details of and what was discussed in that audio, so this in this category of like, okay, we're talking about extraterrestrials there, and that's kind of like one of those hints that I throw out throughout the film of extraterrestrial presence, and yeah, that's one of them. And of course, he was talking about the planet of Saturn, and that's a whole that's more things that's going to be touched upon in the sequels. So I was like, already off the gate, I'm just throwing out hints. I'm planting seeds to what this is going to be. This plot is going to become just planting plot devices. And yeah, this right here, this piece of paper, CD Unseen, with this drawing that I put on here. This will also be, a developing plot device that will be revisited. It's kind of like I'm putting in my storyboards. I might just revisit that and make that, you know, significant in the details of the whole plot as a whole as we go forth. All right, so just to give y'all like the angle of cinematography that I'm going with this film. So like this is pretty much the first sequences or the first frames of the film, right? I start this. Not only did I start this from the bottom with me digging up with the shovel. I start this from the bottom, just from like the angular view of this shot. I shot this at the very bottom. Like I just placed the camera down on the ground, focused in towards the frontal, and yeah, recorded like that. And that's pretty much why I shot it like that is from the beginning of the film. I start this film at the very bottom. Like I start this film off very grounded, or so to say. So it's very grounded. And as the plot develops, and you're following along with the character and you're following along with the plot, by the end of the film, you're looking up and you're basically beyond I'm taking the story beyond our earthly existence, basically. So I start the film off from the very bottom. By the end of the film, you're looking up. From the start of the film, you're down, looking ground level. By the end of the film, you're looking up. So yeah, that's the cinematography that I was going for with this with the way I shot these beginning shots. All right, so basically, still staying on the topic of cinematography, um, shot placement, shooting location. Um, I wanted the beginning of the film. The reason that I shot the beginning of the film is basically downtown. Um, um, with this film and the way that this film is basically based on and where it's taking the plot, uh, it's basically going is making. I wanted the film to make you challenge the everyday um social normalities that that we are given and the templates that we're given in society in our lives. And I wanted that to be challenged. I wanted you to basically watch this film and kind of like challenge in your mind these social norms and these in the society that we live in. So I chose downtown because what other what other place in that is where pretty much you can interpret the matrix other than city life, downtown. It's pretty much the entire layout of the systematic design of the machine that we call America. You can see even why I chose the trains. You can see the contrast of classism. You can see people that they're taking a train, and you got on the side people driving in exotic cars. Some people they're carrying carts, carrying baskets with clothes. Some people are strung out on drugs, and they're right next to the people that's coming out of all these skyscrapers with suit and ties and briefcases, and they're obviously a difference in class. So yeah, this is why I shot it downtown. Um, just to give that sense of, okay, this is the core of where everything that I'm basically speaking about is at.
Pearl Arts District Station. This is the Blue Line. Final destination, downtown Rowlett Station. Next stop, City Place, Uptown Station.
Everything is perception. The world above is but an elusive cover-up. The underworld is more revealing to the actuality of the existence we live in. So I ask you, how far are you willing to look? This is a view that cannot be explained, for I cannot force anyone to see what I see. For once you have the sight, you can never be blind to it again. In Abrahamic religion, knowledge was forbidden from man. Alright, so that's another dynamic that's gonna be heavily touched on and throughout the film. If y'all don't know me, y'all already know, like, for the people that personally know me, y'all already know like how I feel about religion and my personal stance and personal perspective on religion. And I obviously incorporated that into this film here. So the film is like the main character is his characterization is highly based off my actual personal views and personal perspectives of the world, and I just took it and made that a template, made that a basis for to build on with the main character. So I'm going to be hinting at a lot of different belief systems Like I said, I hinted at Abrahamic religions. That's Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, um, Christianity, and Catholicism is basically hand in hand. And I'm gonna hint at Greek mythology, um, Hinduism, and as I continue like with the sequels, I'm be hinted at even more belief systems and religions like deism, um, Saturnianism, which is basically everywhere. Basically, that's the umbrella of everything. Basically, Saturnism. If you know your occultic, if you actually do occultic research, and that's basically a hint right there of what's
You
going to be
must bite
going on.
the apple if you wish to see what I see. Start at the
Yeah, I said bite the apple to see what I see. Like if you know your biblical studies, the tree, the forbidden fruit was from the tree of knowledge. So um, and you know when Adam and Eve when they bit the apple, they was basically knowledgeable of their existence on a level that they wasn't prior to eating the apple. So that's a just ties in, plays with the name the Farlooker, which is basically like you're seeing what others don't see, you're perceiving what others don't see, you're you're coming into knowledge that people aren't really trying to gain themselves.
center of every city. How much trash comes from each of these buildings? There was once a thriving forest here. Whole habitats wiped out so that we can have roads and skyscrapers. Jails to punish the thieves, yet the jail is built on stolen land. We demonize the murderers and forget about the blood this establishment was built on. Look at the world around you. Everyone stuck into one-dimensional thought of their own individual reality, unaware that we are all on a doomsday clock, under the illusion that we have time.
All right, so that was kind of like you already know a whole interpretation of the world around me type of monologue, and I said unaware that we're all on a doomsday clock. So if y'all don't know me, that's just another personalization characteristic that I just do in the film. Like if y'all don't know me, y'all like I'm big on like DC Comics, and Doomsday Clock is my favorite DC comic basically. So yeah, I just do that.
The darkness of humanity is something most refuse to lay eyes on. But I see better in the dark, for it was the darkness of the universe that birthed the light of stars. Do not neglect it. Do not run from it.
All right, that's pretty much another hint of what's going to be going on in the film. It's pretty much a whole struggle of duality, you know, light versus dark, good versus bad type of scenario.
My sight.
Now this is one of those things that is also going to be a significant sequence toward when I start finishing the whole saga of the Farlooker. So this is another this is not only significant for the film that it's in, it's going to also be significant later on in other films following this plot. So this is actually a JFK coin. Considering that I'm in Dallas and I shot this in Dallas, and this is not too far from where President John F. Kennedy was actually shot in Dallas and killed in Dallas. It's not too far from where he was shot from. So I just thought it was a interesting aspect to have, a JFA coin while I'm shooting this in Dallas, and it just adds to the mystique of unknowingness with the film, because there's a whole lot of conspiracies behind who actually shot and why they killed JFK, and so that's a JFK coin in the city he was killed.
Has granted me the
I put it in
ability
the
to
film.
see the unseen in the world, and also granted me the power to do something about it. For there must be vengeance. This is where I've made a home, in the furthest corner of the mind. This is where I feel alone, and what lies behind the eyes. If only you had the vision I had, and maybe you could see the signs. With great power comes great pain, as if my gift is my curse, and my curse is my gift.
All right, so this is one of the first extravagant VFX. Yeah, you guys can actually go back and watch the live stream where how I actually did this coin. I shot this with a green screen, end up tying a piece of shred, taping a piece of shred to the coin, and just editing out the ends. And yeah, that's how I came up with the coin telekinesis effect. And the blue eyes. The blue eyes is basically a reference to Dune. Frank Herbert's Dune. If y'all haven't seen Dune or knowledgeable of Dune, I guys should watch it. It's pretty fire. It's a book. Started out as a book originally, but yeah, that's pretty much influenced the eye color with the blue eye color, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
This is not an adventure race. This is
All right, we gotta
military
add.
selection.
They will play by our rules.
So yeah, man. All right, we gotta add the sequence we're about to come in after this ad is basically just highlighting how we're treating the planet, like all the trash that we know we leave around. You can probably go outside your house right now, go outside right now, and you can just see a pile of trash somewhere in a pocket of trees, and most people just don't care. Yeah, most people just don't care. So I actually took that and decided to give my own ideological view on that, and how us as humanity is basically becoming a cancer to our own planet. So yeah, we're just gonna wait till this ad is over. We're about 11 minutes in. Boom, boom, boom.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here.
All right, so we back at the film. So yeah, this is basically a lot of trash that I end up encountering as I'm shooting a film. I just decided to get some shots of it and incorporate it into the
Humanity,
plot.
we have become the cancer to the world that gave us life. The endless waves of trash that people toss on the side of the street without any regard for nature. The endless waves of trash that ultimately end up in our oceans. Our everyday life is structured in polluting and destroying the planet. How long can this parasitic way of life continue before nature itself decides to strike back and bring hell to our heaven? I've kept myself a secret from the world because I believe the world is not ready for someone of my abilities. But the more I use these powers, the more premonitions I have of a future, of an ideal world, sparked from my influence. Maybe it's not the world I fear, and instead my own uncertainty. For my self-conflict stems from me trying to figure out the best way to use my powers to help the world. The Greek god Zeus punished Prometheus for giving man fire, and with fire, man scorched the face of the earth. So maybe people are beyond saving, and to try is a sin.
All right, so as I told you guys, I'm going to be hinting at and touching on a lot of different religions and belief systems as we progress throughout the film and further sequels. That was Greek mythology. If anybody is knowledgeable in Greek mythology, Zeus did punish Prometheus for providing man with fire, and as you can see, if you contrast that to translate that to reality, what we have done with fire, we went from forging weapons like swords, all the way up to guns, all the way up to nuclear weapons. So we have scorched the face of the earth with the element of fire, and he was basically punished. He was basically punished for helping mankind, and when you just essentially, so look at the people that have ever tried to really help, humanity as a whole. Nothing ever good came to them people. You can go on all the people, all the individuals that ever really tried to be humanitarians, really, and really try to help people. It didn't go right for them. It didn't go right for them. So maybe to try is a sin. Giving people knowledge is a sin. Like how I told y'all in a sequence where I said about biting the apple. You have to bite the apple to see what I see, and I'm talking about the biblical story of Adam and Eve eating a fruit from the tree of knowledge. That was a sin. That was a sin in the Bible where they ended up getting knowledge pretty much, and you can see that before the Bible with Greek mythology where someone else is punished for having knowledge and distributing knowledge and to people that are not ready for it, basically. So those are things that philosophical views of mine that I end up incorporating into the plot of the film.
This is my journey. And this is my story. Alright, looks like we are recording.
All right, so basically this sequence, the audio was kind of messed up because the way I shot it, like the background noise was kind of too intense, and so I kind of did turn it down in editing production. Like I turned this scene, like I took the audio and kind of turned it down a little bit. Uh,
To introduce myself, my name is Amun, and I've I've decided to start documenting my abilities, and to just start it off, it's kind of hard to explain, but I have to show you, which I am going to show you with a few demonstrations. But my first my first ability is like my sight. I have precognition. I see things, a lot of things that happen before they happen. I've always been able to see spirits. I can see electromagnetic signals, and just my perception is very unique. And through my sight and through my mental abilities, they kind of extend into the physicality of my abilities, and that expresses itself through telekinesis. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with what telekinesis is, but I'm pretty much going to be showing you guys a few things that I can do. Like I said, I want to document my abilities, and I just want to show you guys that, it's not an everyday thing that you see. But I'm going to begin with moving this can that, I found lying around, but and just so if anybody asks, like, yes, like, you might be, like, asking, like, why is he recording this in the middle of the woods or nowhere? I'm homeless. Like, I'm homeless.
so yeah, that's something that I wanted to be um, prevalent with the character. Like adds to his origin of unknowingness with him being homeless. So yeah, he doesn't really know his origins basically. So yeah, I just wanted to add that to the characterization of the main character. And yeah.
It's nothing wrong with being homeless. It's like, people with homes, they kind of like stuck in a loop of, they're going to work and then going home and then they're paying bills and they're just stuck in that loop for the rest of their life. And like when you're homeless, well, technically homeless, you're not really homeless, but popular, demand, you're homeless. So, I mean, you have more time to spend in nature and, you kind of appreciate the trees. And me personally, I just, I really don't, I don't appreciate people leaving trash like everywhere and littering and stuff like that. So I found this can walking around, and I'm gonna demonstrate how I'm gonna move this. Of course, with telekinesis.
All right, moving the can.
Now, you guys might be a little shocked right now, but this is kind of part of the things that I can do. And fun fact, Easter egg, I have the phone floating in the air, and I'm actually have the phone like recording mid-air as well. So yeah, it's kind of hard for me to concentrate on two things at once, but like I said, I'm documenting my powers and I'm pushing my limits, as I should say. Alright, that's exhibit 1 of my powers. Alright guys,
Yeah, so basically this whole sequence right here of me showing what I can do with like telekinesis and my powers, it's kind of heavily inspired by the film Chronicle. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the film Chronicle, but yeah, it's one of my favorite films, and kind of just took one of those elements of the film and just kind of like incorporated off that, and that's pretty much this whole sequence right here, and me showing my powers and me recording it in this format basically.
like I said, I am homeless, but I do have a place to stay for tonight, so I have to make this fairly quick. But I'm about to really surprise you guys. I am about to attempt flight, all right? This is the flight attempt, all right? Like I said, this vlog and this this documentation of my abilities, this is all about pushing my limits, all right? This is all about pushing my limits as far as I can go with these abilities that I have. And I'm really excited right now. I'm really excited to try this flight attempt. And I haven't really tried to move anything at fast velocities or just an object at fast speeds. So I'm about to really try to propel myself and hold myself into the air as fast and as long as I can. So all or nothing, guys, all or nothing.
Right, that was pretty much very fun effect to do. I ended up adding some car alarms in the background of that. Like I came down so hard I made the car alarms go off. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
That was exhibit 2, the flight test, and I would consider it a failure. I couldn't keep myself in the air, like propelled in the air at fast speeds and keep myself afloat, so it was kind of hard to concentrate. So I was like, man, I just gotta come down. So I came down fairly quickly and quite hard, landed on my knee pretty badly, and it hurts. But we're just gonna move on to the next exhibit. That was exhibit 2, the flight test. Next exhibit, exhibit 3. It's gonna have the basis of the same thing that I tried with the flight test, and that's holding something or catching something at fast speeds, and we're gonna use a tennis ball. All right, stay tuned for this.
So this is like another Chronicle inspired sequence right here. Like if y'all seen the movie Chronicle, where Andrew basically catches the stops the tennis ball from hitting him in the face with telekinesis. All right, this is where we kind of transition the plot into being a little bit more darker.
I do not know where I come from. I do not know how I obtained these abilities. But all my life, it has felt like a curse. Something bestowed upon me from the pain that overwhelms me when I use them. I start to see things that the human eye cannot perceive. And this drives me into a slumber. I must sleep. But even then, I cannot escape this. For the truth is never more visible than when the eyes are closed. As you drift among the infinite doors of the subconscious mind.
Come here, boy.
All right, it's another cool effect. All right, so this is where we're shifting the plot into something a little bit more darker, a little bit more undertone from the surface. Like I just gave you this whole sequence of me gradually showing my powers, and then I just transition it into something, okay, it's kind of getting a little bit more serious toned, a little bit more darker. And it's a fire VFX creation that I did based on like a ghostly image, and then I like manifest into something physical. And this is basically a dream sequence, basically. And yeah, I'm a student of Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan, and in a lot of Zack Snyder films, he does have a lot of dream sequences. In BVS, Justice League, Army of the Dead, Army of Thieves, like he has a lot of dream sequences. So it's kind of like where I get that kind of film visual language from, putting a lot of dream sequences or hinting at a lot of dream sequences when I make films. It's another fire effect. Where I basically shot took two different shots of myself and put them together in editing, and it looks like I'm sitting there like with a clone of myself, basically. Another important thing here is this color grade, this change of color grade. This will be important, like how this purplish color grade is. Not only is this for the dream sequences, but this is also like hinting at this what I'm gonna do as far as the sequels. The second film will be taking place where the location basically in the plot that's gonna be taking place is gonna be this atmospheric color grade right here, this purplish atmosphere.
What? What are you?
So it seems the man that sees the truth in the world is blind to the truth within himself. For I am only you.
Are you a conceptual entity that my mind has created?
Oh no, young Farlooker. I am an overseer. Our marks have been in a silent war for centuries. A war that takes place beyond the physical realm. But in short, I am your clone, made and initiated by the overseers, for it was our only way to find you.
Find me. Do you imply I was once in your possession of some sort? Meaning you know where I come from.
My dear Farlooker, your origins are not for me to reveal, but for you to see yourself. But yes, you belonged to us, and rebels chose to take and hide you from us. We could not find you until you recently decided to use your powers at a detectable capacity in which I came into use. As a clone of the genetic material left behind from you being taken as an infant, our minds are linked, allowing us to project ourselves on the physical plane and finally meet.
You called me a Farlooker. What is that, and what are overseers?
What I will tell you is that we overseers hunt to find you all. Either you work for us, or we terminate you. We used religious crusades, witch hunts, and other methodologies to eliminate those who do not become weapons to secure our system and our establishment.
All right, so this is basically how should I put this? The Farlooker concept, like the Farlooker concept, and who are identified as Farlookers, pretty much the intelligent, right? Like the super smarts and the super intelligence. So inverse Farlookers would be people like Einstein, people like Nikolai Tesla, people who have made great scientific breakthroughs and throughout humanity. Um, Cultural gatekeepers from a spiritual aspect, like shamans and stuff like that. Um, those will be Farlookers, inverse Farlookers. Um, and then you have the overseers, right? Overseers are people that they're hunting these specific groups of people, and they're using them. They're using them for their own, you know, gains. And if they're not, they're disposing them, of course. So that's pretty much like the inverse explanation of like who would be Farlookers and who wouldn't be. As far as this, the conversation is going here between, myself as the Farlooker versus a clone of myself as a overseer. Now, of course, you can see the indentation that it resembles me, but the reason I end up blurring out the face is because an overseer can be anybody. Like, it can be anybody, and it can also not only the blur out the face can signify it can be anybody. It can also be you, and you're not aware of it. So that's kind of like what the blurring out the face kind of signifies.
No matter how obscure you think you are, power of your kind cannot go unnoticed, for the potentiality of it threatens the system on every level of existence. We have governors that oversee it, no matter where you are in society, from the malls you go into, to the restaurants you walk in, the jobs you work. There will always be someone watching you from the distance.
So you're killing us and raising us as weapons to protect your system.
Correct. Though we no longer outright slaughter you, for that is a waste of blood that is equivalent to gold. We implement a change of methodology, and that's controlling the Farlooker population from growing in numbers. The common folk who unknowingly have the gene within their bloodline, we possess and suppress their abilities through our eugenic program, abortions, vaccines, even false diagnoses such as ADHD warrants us to drug the kids with prescriptions that specifically target the FL gene and guarantee ourselves a lifelong customer.
Yeah, so this comes something I kind of hint at as far as like I have a lot of kids in these schools on prescription drugs basically, and pretty much are making these kids into dope fiends, and that's something I also feel kind of passionate towards, and something like I wanted to implement into the film. Um, as far as like they're using drugs, like these specific drugs, to suppress kids, and they're suppressing these kids' creativity, um, their skills, and their skills of innovation, um, and all around they're just their energy as a person. And it's like suppressing their entire personality. So I end up taking that and making that a component that I'm going to build the film around. So that's how I end up implementing that, and explaining the whole big pharma industry, and these schools are making deals basically with these um big pharma industries, and basically pimping out the kids, drugging up the kids, and they're just getting checks off of it for distributing it.
Cut the school's checks for identifying those who must be overseen by the system.
This is wrong. How can you treat us as nothing but weapons? What else are you overseeing? The destruction of the planet? Slavery? The extortion of resources?
My Farlooker, remember we are mentally connected. Do not act like you do not understand. With the sight you have, I know that you know better than anyone that with power, you must understand the nature of power. It's universal. In every level of existence, there is and always will be a fight for control. Even trees fight for more sunlight. That is the nature of power. After power is obtained, the only concern is to maintain it, for power is not given, it is only exchanged by being taken. Morality and power can never coincide. If we must kill the next man, the next family, conquer the next continent, to wipe out the indigenous and level the forest, then so be it. And after we squeeze this world of its resources, we will move on to the next and oversee the same process.
Yeah, so squeeze this world and we'll move on to the next and oversee the same process. That is also something that is another hint that's going to be expounded upon in sequels, as far as in this case the next film. So I'm not going to really speak too much on that. And yeah, I'm just let it keep going, dissecting the conversation.
As long as I live, I won't let this continue.
So you think you have a choice in this matter?
All right, so as I said in the beginning of this, when I started the film, I will be touching on a lot of religious aspects and a lot of belief systems, and making you challenge them as a viewer. And so I'm just throwing certain verses out of the Bible into this conversation that we're having. And you just pause and read one. I am the Lord, and there is no other. I form the light and create darkness. I bring prosperity and create disaster. I, the Lord, do all these things. By popular notion, this God being that everyone subscribes to is all good being. And here it is in the biblical scriptures. It's telling you that God not also created good; He also created evil. So this is another contrast of duality here that I'm kind of like hinting at. That's going to be embodied by the main character. As you can see once we get to the end of the film, and yeah, we're just gonna let it play for a little bit more.
Overseers, we are the gods, and we are the devils. Your rebellion will still be within our plans. We give people a life of hell and a promise of heaven in the afterlife, all while they'll build ours on earth. The devil is only God in disguise, my young Farlooker. You and your kind are but another program in our system. Your power does not mean you are not another pawn on the chessboard. You are still governed by the overseers of the world. Running from your destiny will only bring you right back to it, boy.
So yeah, I said in this conversation that the overseer is having with the main character, they're both myself. So this not only is the conversation, you're seeing the duality, but within the character you're seeing the duality, because I'm playing both characters. I'm playing both characters. I'm playing the overseer and I'm playing the Farlooker. So you're seeing, and they're clone. Like one is a clone of the other. So it's this duality factor that I'm continuously giving in the visual language of the film. If you guys are just paying attention, so I'll say God is the devil in disguise, and that statement can be backed up by the biblical scripture that I showed. Isaiah 45:7, where God says, He created good and created evil, created light and created darkness. So um, I'm also going into the conversation of destiny versus causality. Like I told him, like as long as I live, I won't allow this to go on. And the overseer responds like, "You're still a pawn on the chessboard. Running from your destiny will only bring you right back to it." So, um, with also the Bible being included in this conversation, the Bible is all about prophecies and prophets and prophecies, and things being fulfilled um, that hasn't been done yet. So the conversation comes up destiny versus causality, which is cause and effect. Something that's predetermined, or like a future or an event or an occurrence that's predetermined already, written for you, versus cause and effect of you doing something, and then you get an equal, reaction based off what you're doing. And also hint at self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Self-fulfilling prophecy, like, it's not necessarily destiny, is not necessarily written, but you cause what you're looking for, basically. And an example of that is Anakin, Darth Vader from Star Wars. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's his own actions that ends up leading him to the dark side. His own actions that ends up killing his wife and that's like kind of why he ended up turning to the dark side, but he ends up being his own cause of that. So self-fulfilling prophecy. So in me trying to stop, in the main character, the Farlooker, trying to stop this everything that the overseer just explained to him, he's still enacting and he's still progressing the plan as it's given to him. So that's the self-fulfilling prophecy here.
In the actuality of predetermination, free will is nothing but another illusion you Farlookers cannot see through.
Right, so I end up throwing in another biblical scripture right there. The Lord foils the plans of the nations. Plans of the Lord stands firm forever. So even like, yeah, it's like that.
Told man do not eat from the tree, knowing that they would do it anyway before creating them. It is within our plan. You were hidden. In your own search for greater power, it only brought you right back to us.
So yeah, I said, even in the all-knowing God, creating Adam and Eve, telling them not to eat from the tree, but he's all-knowing. So he knew they were going to eat the apple before he even created them. Right? If God is all-knowing, he already knew Adam and Eve would eat the apple, and the repercussions that would come from them eating the apple before he even created them and even placed them there, or even told them about the apple. He took no precautions to try to stop it. He didn't even try to hide. He could have hid the tree from their sight, but put an invisible cloak or something over the tree, but he didn't do that. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy within his story.
I became a therapist because
All right,
I'm
got
a
another
philosopher
ad.
client.
Just gonna put that on mute. So yeah, man, we're about what? I want to say about 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes into the film, approximately. And yeah, it's a lot of philosophical undertones, a lot of ideologies that I implemented into the plot of the film, and the characterization of the character that's being expressed through the character. And yeah, you guys can kind of see where I like shot this by myself, why I shot this like one character. Like you're following the view and the steps of just one character, and it's fire. To me, it's fire. To me, this is like it's fire. It's super fire. I don't really see other independent filmmakers putting that much thought and creativity into the craft. So yeah, I took the film back to downtown area.
The overseer revealed to me that those like me, who can see the invisible hand in the world, cannot be allowed to thrive, that obstacles will be set against us from ever threatening their position of power over the world, just as God had to dispel Lucifer out of heaven due to creating him perfect, and in his perfection he started to see God's imperfection.
All right. So as I said throughout this entire film, I'm hinting at and touching on different belief systems. So I done already touched Greek mythology, standard Christianity / Catholicism. Now I'm kind of hinting at Luciferianism, right? So if you actually read biblical scripture, God created Lucifer perfect, like he created him a perfect being, and he ended up rebelling against God. Well, it's like making artificial intelligence, right? It's like making artificial intelligence. Um, the artificial intelligence is kind of going to start seeing the flaws of humanity. So apply that and translate that to the relationship between God and the devil or Lucifer. He created him perfect, and he rebelled against him after not popular by logic. He ended up rebelling against him by seeing God's imperfections. It's a nice
How
shot.
many of these people that wear suit and ties are overseers to the system? The bankers, the realtors, the pastors, keeping these conditions alive, with hopeless people clinging to religion, unaware that there is a predator that preys on the people that's giving the prayers. For the devil is God in disguise. My encounter with the overseer has sparked many questions. Are our desires truly our desires, or templates given to us to seek, conditioning us to thrive for things that we are told to thrive for, that only supports the system's control over us?
So it kind of brings back the argument, right, of destiny versus free will. Like, that kind of hints at the argument destiny versus free will. Like, is our free will really our free will? Are the things that we strive for, are they really our desires, or are these templates given to us by society to make us think this is actually what we want out of life? Like, example, prime example, college. Thriving for college degrees. I'm not demeaning or dissing anybody that's you're on your way to trying to get a college degree, but that is a societal template that's given to children, that's sold to children, that's conditioned to children, that this is what they need to strive for. Like, you get out of high school, you go to college. You're in school, or you got to go to college. You got to go to college, and it's really something that only helps the system. It's not, you don't really get individual benefits really from it, from having college degrees. I mean, if you're looking at the economic, at the state of the economy right now in America, man, the associate's degree, which is the first level of degree after your first 4 years of college, the associate's degree, that's pretty much equivalent to a high school diploma now. Yeah, it's pretty much equivalent to a high school diploma now. Like, you can't prepare people for a world that doesn't exist anymore. Like, having an associate's degree probably like was significant in the 1950s. Right now, no. You're wasting a lot of time, you're wasting a lot of money, and all that money is going into, the school institution. People really overlook the fact that school is a business before anything. It's a business before anything. So they're making a whole lot of money off you retaking tests, off you retaking tests, off the parking, off the games, off the tuition. They're making a whole lot of money, and while you working with the guy that just got out of high school, and he's kind of on his way to becoming a manager and store manager. So, and it's just something to put into perspective.
We spend our lives to obtain the dollar. A dollar with faces of people who genocided and destroyed millions. And even in the slave master's death, they make sure that we still slave to them, as their faces are printed on currency.
So yeah, that's another perspective to really think about. Like, when you look at the dollar bills, and you look at our printed fiat currency, and you look at the faces of these people, and you do the research on these people, on these presidents, on the dollars, these people were slave owners. George Washington, slave owners. They were slave owners in their lifetimes. And here it is, 400, 500 years later, we're killing, stealing, and doing all type of atrocities and acts for this dollar that has the face of these people who owned slaves. So it's kind of like they're like these people have transcended into godlike beings through currency. Because not only were we slaves to them in their lifetime, we're slaves to them in our lifetime 500 years later, because we're all thriving for this piece of paper that has their face on it. And we're waking up every day. We're getting up every day. We're sacrificing a whole lot of time, we're sacrificing a lot for this currency that has the face of slave owners on it. So we're still enslaved to them. And I actually like expounded on this in a song of mine when I used to like make music. If you guys know about that or not. So yeah, it's just something to think about. Just something to think about.
Money is nothing in comparison to true power. I can take anything I want, do anything I want, but with power I must come to a great reason to utilize it. And as we grow up, as kids we idolize the heroes But as we journey through life, we see the truth in villainry. What are the heroes truly protecting? And what are the villains truly fighting against? Why must I use my powers to help and maintain an establishment that thrives off us being enslaved? Thrives off our everyday life that's destroying the planet? Is this the state of existence that we want to keep?
It was like a change of perception. Wrote that on $1, like you let me control you. Another telekinesis shot. Me holding up the $. I put a little distortion effect on like towards my hand, if you guys can see that. It's kind of just give off like the effect of, all right, there's like a metaphysical force coming off like my hand.
Hi guys. It's been a while since, I've made a video, and I'm sure you guys have been waiting on any updates, since my last video. And I am beginning to see that I'm beginning to see what I must become. This planet cannot sustain this system, and my whole dilemma with my powers and my whole dilemma with, documenting my powers is all for me to come to a conclusive decision on how I should use my powers, to progress humanity. And after my encounter with the Overseer, I'm starting to see that humanity is doomed. This system is too deep. It's too deep to the point that they will fight to protect their own demise. And in trying to be the hero I need to be, I will only become the villain. So I see I have to make way for renewal, like the cleansing fire of the sun. I must bring hell to those who built their heaven on earth.
All right, so this is one of those another duality factor, the hero versus the villain, that I'm putting in like this one character. I start off like very optimistic, a little optimistic towards humanity when I'm talking, to the Overseer. And as you can see, since my talk with the Overseer, I'm starting to, see exactly like his ways of his ideology, and that like he's sort of right. So I'm kind of like almost reciting the Overseer. And yeah. This is like one of those, duality factors between the hero versus the villain. Like when I said like uh before this shot, now speaking about heroes and villains, like who are heroes, what are heroes truly fighting for? Like heroes, like when you watch like the average mediocre superhero film. They're pretty much fighting to protect those that are in power. They're fighting for, the order of the city. They're fighting to keep the government implemented. And we read a lot of DC comics. Superman tends to side with the government a lot. So versus the villain. And then like when you grow up, you start to see the thought process behind the villains and why they chose a path of villainy, and they chose to be go against the system in a way. And their ideologies, like the Joker, they be right in a lot. They be right in a lot of their thought patterns. Yeah, so this is another fire scene. The rocks, of course, are CGI. I put that in there, and this is just to show my progression of my powers. Like I could barely fly towards the beginning of the film, and now here, I'm steady. I got a little bit more control. I can keep myself in the air, so it's to show like a little progression where I'm at as far as the capacity of my powers at this point. This is also like inspired by the Chronicle scene where Andrew like crushes the car. It's kind of like inspired by that. I shot this with my green screen as well. Another fire shot, like the foreground and the blurred out background. You kind of see the silhouette of me back there and the swinging right there. Fire scene.
You feel powerless, young Farlooker. Perhaps now, the only question is who will you target first?
I also did every single voice in this film. The overseer voice, I basically, did the monologue through the audio, and I just changed the pitch to make it, a little bit more like demonic, grunchy sound. And so yes, I did do the voice, every single voice in this film.
Maybe you should start low and kill the landlords making people pay for water, the most abundant resource on the planet. The globalists using child labor to power their own countries. The religious leaders committing unspeakable crimes against children. The police that protect stolen land. The overseers have implemented a self-sustaining machine, freeing their own dependency. Humanity will fuel their own enslavement, with no desire to reclaim and no desire to take back. Even in your defiance within our plans, you cannot escape that which is inevitable.
All right, we got another biblical scripture. Just something to make you go like, just something to make you question, right? Just something to make you question, the popular narratives that's presented to us through society. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear, as with sincerity of your heart, as you would obey Christ. So, respect, the people that respect the overseers, basically. It's kind of something that's I threw in right there.
Maybe you are correct. Then again, maybe you are not. Sight may come through the eyes, but vision comes through the mind. And the world I envision is greater than this one. One's culture is God, is another culture's devil. One savior is another's destroyer.
Right? So like one culture's God is another culture's devil. You know, one savior is another's destroyer. So it's another, you know, duality factor that I threw in there. Um, that will be expounded upon in the sequels and like towards the actions of the end of the film. You know, some people might see what I do as an act of, you know, act of necessity. Some people might see me as a god, you know, that just saved them. And some people may see me as, you know, this the demonic destroyer that just came and destroyed their entire like way of life. And it's all about within the necessity of whatever perspective that you're looking at.
Like Shiva of the Hindu, both
Yeah,
are
like
necessary
Shiva
roles in
of
the
the
worlds
Hindu.
they
Like if you
govern.
guys are familiar with Hinduism, Shiva is the god, the destroyer god of Hindu, but it's all also like the creator god. So to create, you must destroy. So it's kind of like that rhetoric, and you know, more hints at something, you know, like the Revelations section of the Bible. You know, like kind of adds to the sequence. Like, okay, something's about to happen. I'm about to change um this a lot of global dynamics, right? So and like I said, this all goes back into prophecy and self-fulfilling prophecy and um, a prophecy that's been implemented that the main character isn't fully aware of um, at this moment in the film or in the story completely.
I see the destructive fire must become a cleansing one. And now is the time to light the match.
Yeah, like the destructive fire must become a cleansing one. So you know, we're given when you do a lot of research on end of the world prophecies and end of the world um, rhetoric and, you know, religious beliefs, there's always ending in fire of some sort, ending in the element of fire of some sort. Like in the Nordic, you have Ragnarok. In the Nordic Viking, you have Ragnarok. Um, with, you know, Judo Christian um, ideology, you have, you know, Revelations or um, the Rapture. You know, ending in fire. You know, in hell. Of course, you got hell. You know, an eternal lake of fire. And I'm taking that and I'm adding an element of duality towards that. You know, it's given like the element of fire and in the world prophecies. They're given to us as this destructive fire that's going to destroy everything. From my perspective, it will be a cleansing fire. Like from everything I just showed you in this film to, you know, us destroying the planet, all the fire, not the fire, all the trash, all the skyscrapers that we build. You know, we did not destroy entire forests, destroy entire habitats to build these type of these cities. Um, if this global fire was to hit the earth right now, this would be a cleansing fire. It wouldn't be. Yes, it'll be a destructive fire, but that goes back into the element of, you know, Hinduism that I kind of hinted at right here. You know, to create, you must first destroy what was there. You can't, you know, create on top of it until it's destroyed. think we're gonna be hitting an ad sometime soon. All right, so I shot this near the river, Trinity River, where I'm from. Got a whole lot of good, stream or water passage shots.
The Farlooker that I've heard so much about. The overseers informed me you would be coming. But I must say, you have found me sooner than expected.
You have been chosen as the first to endure my wrath. For a man's God is but a reflection of his psychology. For a trickster, cunning, and killing God, those will be the characteristics of the worshippers. You represent a tool that's been used for far too long. You prey on the people sending the prayers and sell them prophets to make profit. To reignite the flame of the human soul, I must remove you and your kind's suffocating grip.
As priest, would you like to know our roles as overseers? We molest the children.
All right, so here it is. I'm talking to a Catholic priest, and if anybody that's familiar with Catholicism, the Catholic Church, they are notorious for crimes against children. And that includes all type of organized pedophilia. And the just the endless waves of sexual assault cases from religious organizations and these high-ranking religious leaders. That goes for the Catholics, the Christians, and especially especially the Jews. So, yeah. If you guys don't know that, you might want to do some research on, organized pedophilia and sexual abuse, in the Jewish community and the Catholic community. So, yeah, that's basically what I want, this Catholic priest character to represent right here. And I'm just let the conversation complete.
Rob the poor with sales of hope and salvation. There is a method behind the madness. For when you cannot beat a man physically, you must infiltrate his village and beat him mentally. We take your power away to make you spiritually submit to us as your Lord and Savior, as we destroy your very way of life. Through the glory of the overseers, we have domesticated humans, taking you away from the wild and placed you in a controlled environment. For the cross is only a folded out box.
All right, so basically, I'm letting the overseer explain my perspective on religion being a tool for those in power. Um, like saying like you can look throughout history, with the Catholic Crusades all across the New World, as far as North and South America, all throughout Africa, and all throughout the world. Religion has been used as a tool. When you can't beat, like when you can't beat a people physically, like head up in war, um, you have to beat them in the mind and in the spirit. So use your religion as a weapon. You use your religion as a tool, and that's pretty much what has happened. When you look at African civilizations and the current state of Africa versus thousands of years ago, when they had the land, and the colonizers had the Bible, versus now where the people have the Bible and the colonizers have the land. So,
The capture of the soul
oh
within the
yes,
holy.
and I said something about the. Hold on, let me bring it back. Well, I'm not gonna bring it back. Well, I said the cross being a folded out box, right? The cross, as you see right here, the cross being a folded out box of that's a 3-dimensional cube. That's another hint. That's something that I will be expounding upon in the sequels with Saturnism. When I told you Saturnism is basically the top belief system that's over all these religions, and you guys are gonna see that with the sequel.
Cube. When we conquered the world, the indigenous had the land, and we had the Bible. Now they have the Bible, and we have the land. In our earliest encounters with you Farlookers, our holy crusades persecuted your scientists, your witches, your shamans. I truly despise your kind, just as you despise mine. You think you see, but what you see is but an illusion. Reality is always ahead of sight, for it takes time for the light to reach the eye.
Reality is always ahead of sight, for it takes time to reach the eyes. If you guys are familiar with light and the physics behind light, um, everything you're seeing is based. We're always gonna be in the past, because at the light takes time to reflect into your eyes. So we're never really seeing things how they are. We're really seeing things how they was zero point 0.5 or 0.23 milliseconds ago, depending on your scale. Versus like when we look out into the stars, we're basically seeing the stars how they were millions of years ago, because it's taking millions of years for the light from those stars to reach us, and we can perceive them through our eyes. So that's some science for you that I was just doing there.
So I will show you how blind you truly are, with a glimmer of your past and a glimpse of your future.
All right, so right now we're just making hints at the past origins of the main character that will be expounded upon with the sequels, and future occurrences that will be happening with the main character. Like the blood on my hands. I have blood on my hands type scenario. Top secret. Just hinting at stuff right there. This drawing right here, this is my drawing of extraterrestrial being. This is my drawing. I put that in the film. We got UFOs in the sky, just hints right there. We're just putting hints. Back to the coin. Like I said, the coin will be, prevalent throughout with this with the plot. So this is pretty much a plot device. This coin will be revisited. More rapture, revelation scriptures. Another alien spacecraft. The blood on my hands. Sequences.
The future is always changing, child. And I'd rather change the stream of time than allow your future to become reality. Goodbye, young Farlooker.
Alright. That was VFX. I added the gunshot, added, the fake, like gun.
The future has taken.
Right. So like, the future has taken root. So, like I said, this is like the first installment of, a bigger story here. So, I just threw that in there, like the future is taking root. Like I said, I'm a student of Zack Snyder. If you guys haven't seen, Zack Snyder's Justice League, when Cyborg, no spoilers. I mean, well, spoilers. When it's Cyborg, he has the vision of the future. Um, the Kryptonian ship kind of says, like the future has taken root. So I threw that in there as a nod to Zack Snyder. One of my favorite effects, I stopped the bullet. Bullet drops.
No, impossible.
All right. And boom. All right. Shot that with fake blood. Like prop blood. Did effect where like I pulled out the heart. Kind of like saying, like I'm heartless now. Like the character at this point, he's heartless now. So it's kind of something, like another visual language being expressed through the sequence. Some B-roll. Like the beginning of the film, I could barely fly. Now, I'm pretty much got it under control.
When we switched, we saved over $450 with AAA auto insurance.
Switch to insurance through AAA Texas today, and you could save an average of $483 on auto insurance.
All right, add. So yeah, man. Fire. Fire, fire, fire. I think I've been live for like Right, this is actually a project. It's like a Tesla coil project that I ended up finishing. I decided to throw that into the film.
The following message is transmitted by the request of the United States government. A fiery apparition was reported nationwide.
This is actually footage, like some people sent in, and I just ended up incorporating that into the film. This TV right here, this actually connected to my solar generator. Hold up. Yeah. So yeah, this is footage that some people sent in that I ended up just incorporating into the film and made it into a newscast.
Descended from the
And basically this newscast is like, all right, there's like another hint at like like a rapture event, and either hints at other Farlookers, like how I had the mark on my hand. I told people, like make the mark on their hand and send it to me. So
the atmosphere at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 4:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, authorities have confirmed this apparition to resemble the Christian God Jesus Christ and is making way for the second coming. All stations will cease their...
Alright, so as I said, like in the film, one God, one person's God is another person's devil. So here it is. The actions that are being taken, that's about to be taken, and that's you like can see it has global effects that I made into this newscast. A fiery apparition that looks like Jesus Christ. So making way for the second coming. And that will be the title of the sequel. It will be the Farlooker Second Coming. So here we are.
Programming at this time. Precautionary action should be taken until the all clear has been given. Source: St. Joseph Church Organization.
Yeah, I just took a whole lot of footage. Took a whole lot of like images that I think resonated with the premise of the film. Just put that into like a created newscast.
The telephone line should be kept open for emergencies only.
Another cameo shot somebody sent in.
Authorities are urging residents to repent in the holy name for safety. There is no confirmation that civilians will continue to live in the next week. However,
another hint at religious organizations, sacrificing children, this is with the Catholics, but the Jews are also involved in a whole lot of child sacrifice.
Stay tuned to your local station for more information on this alert. Do not attempt to apprehend the apparition until you are told. In his name we pray. Amen.
However, this does not apply to all.
Alright, so we're back at the downtown setting. As you can see, there's chaos. Added VFX. I'm flying through the sky. Main character flying through the sky. Buildings on fire. As you can see, towards the end of the film, I completely got control over flight now. So that's a graduation of the powers you can see throughout the as you're following along the progress of the film. Added a building crushing in the background.
The world has now been shaken by my reveal.
As you can see, with the monologue audio, kind of took my regular standard voice, and I took the voice of that I made for the overseer, and I have them synchronized together. So that adds to the element of duality. Like, all right, now the two different contrasting sides have now merged together throughout towards the end of the film, and yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to do with that.
Governments struggling to control their cities as the people question my existence. And
adding to the the destiny versus causality argument. Now I'm within the main character is kind of moved within unison with the Farlooker. So self-fulfilling prophecy type thing.
What it means for humanity. And then there are others out there like me, Farlookers who have been in hiding, that see my presence as an awakening. You don't get what you deserve in this world. You get what you have the heart to take. For the transition of power is not given, but taken by those who understand what it takes to claim it. Morality and power cannot coexist. The action I am about to take is not a choice.
Power and morality cannot coexist. So that the overseer kind of made that argument in the dream sequence when I had the dream sequence of me, the main character conversating with the overseer. And as you see towards the end of the film, I have the main character aligned with that ideology, basically.
But a necessity. And in the wake of my wrath, know the world brought the war to me. True baptism is in fire. Like the heat of the sun, I will reclaim the earth from the sickness we have brought upon it. Reshape the cosmos in my image of a greater existence, returning everything to...
All right, so this is pretty much the last sequence of the film. True baptism is in fire, basically. So there's another duality aspect. I'm playing God in this action, and I'm also playing the Antichrist. Like, right, I'm playing God as, you know, the savior of mankind. I'm also playing, you know, the Antichrist as, you know, reclaiming the overthrowing the system, basically overthrowing the governing force that is over Earth, and it kind of coincides with both elements of duality right there, and that are in one. So in this action, some may see me as, you know, the return of this savior archetype, you know, that I've, you know, implemented through the newscast, you know. And then, you know, there's people that might see this and say that this character is like, all right, he's about to commit this atrocity, this global atrocity. Like, this guy is a devil character right here. He's destroying the world. He's started the rapture, basically. This guy is bringing the end of the world. This is an end of the world event right here. So yeah, this is just, it's a whole lot of undertone messages throughout the entire film.
To the base element of carbon, and then a new world rise from the ashes of the old. Let the rebirth begin.
All right, and these planets right here, they will be another significant factor within the sequels. I'm not really going to spoil my, you know, my storyboards or my plot, but these planets will be significant, and towards the sequels, and like where the plot will take place. And if you guys have been paying attention to my entire, you know, breakdown of the film, you understand the atmospheric color grade change was kind of like for that reason. And as far as like the dream sequences and the vision sequences. All right, this is something that that's kind of like a stamp, like my own like film step. Like, you know how artists, you know, like artists sign their work, right? Artists sign their work on drawings, paintings, stuff like that. This is a way of signing my work, right? I leave a director's message. I come up with a quote, or just anything like the premise of the film, or any like motivational things I want to say in the film. I put it towards the end in the form of a director's message. So this is my film stamp. When you be seeing this, when you see this, it's my film stamp. It's prophetic films. So yeah. Average person won't even make an attempt towards greatness. To simply step on the field of life and present yourself separates you from the rest. Thank everyone who supported the film. Director's message. And as you see, I am a living testament of this statement. I shot the entire film by myself. I edited the entire film by myself. You know, I made that attempt towards greatness. You know, I took those steps, you know, on the field of life. I presented myself. You know, you guys can go watch all the editing live streams that I did prior to, you know, finalizing the film. And you can see where like my actions are you know, this quote or this statement is supported by my actions. You can do it too. You can do it too. I got so far. I got the film on Tubi. Got the film on Tubi. Big shout out to my distributors, Film Hub. They're great distributors. Great distributing deal I have with them. Shout out to Tubi, of course, for being accessible platform for independent filmmakers. But I ain't talking about everybody else shit. They shit trash. My shit has no substance. And of course, we got end credit scenes. Of course, we have end credit scenes.
I have one last question.
Yeah, I shot this in the backyard, and mountain. I added this mountain here. Of course, I changed the color grade. I already told y'all the importance of the change of color grade. And of course, I added the planet, the planet Earth in the sky.
If you oversee the horrors of society, if you oversee the harvest of humans and the societal mechanism that produces these unknown horrors, who do you answer to? Who oversees the overseers?
Oh, my dear Farlooker, it is not the evil you can see that you should worry about. It is the unseen evil that even I wish I never laid eyes on.
All right. So yes, this is the final shot of the film. Got an alien's face. Editing wise, I pretty much just did the editing around the eyes to make it more lifelike, because this is a mask. I put a mask over like one of those, those hair beauty dolls. I put the mask over that. So there is no actual real person in this mask. I put like a doll head and I put the mask over. I just did the editing on the mask to give it a little more lifelike features, as you can see with the eyes. And yeah. That's fire. That's fire. And of course, this will be expounded upon within the sequels. As I said in the beginning of the stream, I start this film off at the very bottom. By the end of the film, you're looking up, and we are beyond Earth at this point. And that's the end of the film. That's the end of the film. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very, very powerful film. Very powerful film. Go watch. Go share on Tubi. Put everybody that you know onto the film. The Farlooker on Tubi. And yeah, man. Yeah, man. It was an amazing project. It was an amazing project for me. Some people, the biggest rating that I got for the film from people is a 7. No, some people even say it might be boring, but that's only if you're going into the film like expecting like big packed action. It's not an action film. It's a psychological thriller that is expressed through a character with superpowers. But this is a psychological thriller. It's just expressed through a character that has super abilities. So this is not an action-packed film, man. You got to go into this film a little more open-minded and with the notion that you're about to have like some thought-provoking dilemmas presented to you. So that's the film, guys. That's the film. Drop me a rating in the comments. Thank everybody who pulled up to the stream. I think we've been streaming for like a good 2-3 hours. And that's the film, man. That's the film. So y'all keep streaming. Y'all keep streaming on Tubi for me. And I will be starting production with the sequels pretty much when spring comes around. And of course, I will be back with the live stream, editing live streams, on me putting everything together. So that's gonna be that, and we're gonna be coming bigger and better, the sequels, and we're gonna expound upon everything that was hinted at in the Farlooker. Everything will be answered if you finish the film with unanswered questions.